Have you ever wondered what life could look like after 70? Many people see aging as a downhill journey, but what if I told you that this could be the most transformative phase of your life? In this video, I'll take you through my journey of letting go of habits and mindsets that no longer serve me. I'll reveal how these changes have brought peace, joy, and a renewed sense of purpose. By watching this video until the end, you'll discover 11 powerful things I've let go of after turning 70, each one a lesson in living intentionally. You'll learn how to prioritize your well-being, embrace change, and cultivate deeper connections with others. Whether you're approaching this milestone or already in your golden years, this video will provide insights that can transform how you experience life. But that's not all. I'll share practical strategies to help you tackle mindless spending, manage stress, and redefine your relationships. Plus, I'll give you valuable guidance on how to shift your perspective on aging, from fear to empowerment. This isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving at every stage of life. Stick around as I guide you through these profound changes, and together, we'll explore how letting go can lead to a life filled with joy, purpose, and authenticity. Trust me, you won't want to miss the life-changing insights I'm about to share with you. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. 1. Letting go of working just to stay busy. Letting go of the insidious need to work merely to stay busy has, without a doubt, been one of the most transformative revelations of my entire life. In my younger years, I was ensnared by a powerful drive, an unrelenting force that pushed me to constantly chase after success, climb the ever-growing corporate ladder, and pursue an elusive, ever-moving definition of achievement. My days were filled to the brim, one project seamlessly bleeding into the next, back-to-back meetings, emails demanding my attention in a ceaseless flow, all based on the mistaken belief that the more I worked, the more I could prove my worth, the more I could justify my existence. Looking back now, with the clarity that only time can bring, the realization of how much I sacrificed for that constant pursuit is almost painful. I spent years running on autopilot, driven by a singular, frantic obsession to succeed. The irony, of course, is that in this endless chase, I missed out on the very things that make life rich. The simple moments that, in their subtle beauty, hold value. But as I've grown older, and particularly as I've entered my 70s, my perspective has undergone a radical shift. The frenetic pace of my earlier years left me exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally drained. I began to feel a profound sense of emptiness, as though something precious had been quietly slipping through my fingers, unacknowledged and unnoticed. And so, I found myself confronting a soul-searching question. Is this all there is? The truth hit me like a wave, a revelation that washed over my consciousness. Working just to fill time, to keep busy, was robbing me of the moments that truly nourish the soul, the moments that bring real joy, peace, and fulfillment. No longer was I willing to waste precious hours just to feel productive or occupied. With time, I learned to approach each new day with a sense of intention and to carefully consider every commitment before rushing into it. I no longer feel the desperate need to prove my worth through ceaseless activity. Now, I take a moment of pause, a deep breath, and ask myself a simple yet profoundly transformative question before I commit to anything. Does this align with my values? Will this add real meaning to my life? If the answer is anything but yes, I let it go. I give myself the grace and permission to step back, to refrain from filling my life with tasks that don't serve my greater purpose. This shift has been nothing short of liberating. The weight that once pressed down on my chest, the pressure to always be moving, always achieving, has dissipated. I now fill my time with things that truly matter, cultivating deeper, more meaningful relationships with those I love, rekindling forgotten passions and hobbies, and most importantly, embracing the quiet, guilt-free rest that my soul desperately craved. There is a profound peace that comes with letting go of the incessant need to be occupied. Peace I never thought possible in the chaotic rush of my youth. So, I invite you to pause for a moment. Take a breath. Have you ever found yourself trapped by the weight of busyness, feeling like your worth is measured by how much you do rather than who you are? Imagine, just for a second, what it would feel like to let go of that burden. To engage in work and commitments that not only bring you fulfillment but resonate deeply with your core values. How much richer would your life feel if every task you took on held purpose, and if every moment of your day was filled with intention and meaning? If you embrace this shift as I have, you might just discover, Just as I did, that true success isn't defined by how busy you are, but by the depth, connection, and joy that flow from the life you choose to live. 2. Quitting mindless spending. For far too many years, I found myself trapped in the relentless cycle of mindless spending, a cycle that seemed impossible to break. We live in a world where we're constantly bombarded with messages that we need more. More clothes, more gadgets, more of everything. To be happy, to feel complete, to belong. It's a powerful illusion, one that I fell victim to over and over again. I would purchase the latest shiny tech gadget, fill my wardrobe with clothes I never wore, and clutter my home with trinkets and knickknacks, all in a desperate hope that they would somehow fill an emotional void. But instead of bringing the joy I expected, they only left me feeling emptier. There was a fleeting thrill in acquiring them, yes, but the excitement was always short-lived. Soon, I found myself surrounded by things that were supposed to make me feel better. But still, I felt as though something was missing, as though I was caught in a cycle that would never truly satisfy me. And so, the years passed, and I remained in this endless loop, chasing after possessions that I believed would bring me happiness, only to feel increasingly disconnected from what truly mattered. It wasn't until I finally allowed myself to step back and reflect that I came to a deep, soul-stirring realization. True happiness, the kind that nourishes the soul, cannot be bought. The excitement that comes with material possessions may feel like a brief spark, but it's fleeting and ultimately hollow. What I truly needed, what we all need, is not more things, but a sense of meaning, of connection, of inner peace. In recent times, I've embraced a new philosophy, one that has transformed my approach to spending. No longer do I mindlessly acquire things in an attempt to fill a void. Instead, I've adopted a mindset of mindful, intentional spending. Now, when I make a purchase, I do so with purpose, considering whether it genuinely adds value to my life or touches my heart in a meaningful way. It could be an experience that will forever change my perspective. Perhaps a trip to a new, unfamiliar place that expands my world, or something as simple and beautiful as a book that ignites my imagination and shifts my thinking in ways I hadn't expected. This shift hasn't just kept my finances in check. It has brought a deeper sense of peace and clarity into my life, helping me realize just how rich I already am in the things that truly matter. Love, connection, knowledge, and moments of joy. No longer do I feel the need to chase after possessions that promise happiness. Instead, I've discovered a profound joy in the simple, everyday moments, those experiences that can't be bought. Have you ever had that heavy feeling of regret after an impulsive purchase, that sinking realization that you didn't need it at all? Imagine, just for a moment, how much lighter you would feel without the weight of unnecessary possessions weighing you down. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Think about the freedom that comes with shedding the clutter, the peace that fills the space once taken up by meaningless stuff. What if, by reshaping your spending habits, you could open up more room for the things that truly matter? Experiences, connections, and an enduring sense of inner peace. How much richer would your life feel if you stopped chasing things and instead started embracing the beauty and fulfillment that comes from living more intentionally? 3. Letting go of stressing over the small things. Letting go of the incessant habit of stressing over the trivial, insignificant details of life has been nothing short of a soul-liberating revelation. I can still vividly recall my younger years, when every little inconvenience would send me into a flurry of anxiety. Sitting in traffic, navigating disagreements, or rushing to make an appointment, each of these tiny frustrations felt like monumental obstacles, and I would become consumed by them. They seemed so pressing, so urgent at the time. I felt like I couldn't catch my breath, constantly on edge, perpetually entangled in a web of stress that I created over things that, in hindsight, didn't deserve a fraction of the attention I gave them. My mind was a storm of worries, my soul weighed down by the smallest disturbances, each adding another layer to a thick cloud of anxiety that followed me everywhere, clouding my every thought, my every step. But as the years went by, and I entered my 70s, a profound shift began to take place. I started to view life through a completely different lens, one that allowed me to rise above the trivialities and see the bigger picture. A simple yet powerful question began to echo in my mind every time I felt the pang of frustration. Will this matter a year from now? And time after time, the answer was a humbling and eye-opening no. At that moment, I realized that I had been carrying the weight of countless burdens that were never mine to bear, burdens that added nothing but chaos to my life. It was as if I had been walking around for decades with an invisible backpack, full of unnecessary baggage, And when I finally asked myself that question, I realized I could let it all go. And in doing so, I felt an immense sense of relief, like a heavy burden was lifted from my shoulders, and I was finally allowed to exhale deeply, with the freedom to move forward. The change was subtle but profound. I began to focus only on the things I could control, letting go of everything else with a grace I never knew I had. Slowly, I embraced a newfound peace, one that felt deeply rooted and unshakable. It wasn't that my life became perfect. Far from it. Life, as I've learned, is messy and unpredictable, and no amount of worrying could change that. But instead of resisting the chaos, I chose to flow with it, embrace the imperfections, and find beauty in the uncertainty. With each passing day, I felt a deeper sense of serenity, like the weight I'd carried for so long had finally been lifted, leaving room for clarity, joy, and inner calm. Now, when challenges arise, I meet them with a steady, grounded peace that I never had before. I no longer waste energy on the trivial, things that once set my nerves on edge. Instead, I channel my energy into what truly matters, into the things that bring me joy, that nourish my soul, that build me up. And the peace that I feel now is not the fleeting kind. It's the kind that comes from knowing I'm finally living in alignment with what matters. Imagine, just for a moment, how your life could shift if you let go of the things that drain your energy, the things that don't serve your growth or happiness. Can you feel the sense of calm that would wash over you? What if you chose, right now, to release one small stressor that's been holding you back? What if you simply let go? The freedom that comes from releasing the unnecessary could transform your life in ways you never imagined. It's in these small, deliberate acts of letting go that we often find the deepest peace. Sometimes, it's the things we surrender that have the power to change everything. 4. Prioritizing self-care over pleasing others. Prioritizing self-care over the exhausting and endless pursuit of pleasing others has been one of the most transformative and soul-stirring journeys I have ever experienced. One that has uncovered layers of unexpected beauty, deep revelations, and, yes, some painful truths that I can no longer ignore. The concept of self-care is so often mentioned these days, tossed around casually as if it were a mere luxury or indulgence. Yet, for much of my life, it was a foreign and almost alien notion, something that felt wrong, even selfish. For years, I believed my purpose was to be the ever-giving person, the one who constantly said yes, the one who never hesitated to lend a hand, the one who gave away my energy, my time, my peace, and even my heart to help others. I thought I was being noble. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought this was my calling, to be the pillar, the rock, the unwavering support for everyone around me. My family, my friends, and even strangers. I lived in a world where everyone else's needs came before my own, and I believed that this was the way it had to be. But the harsh reality that I learned, perhaps too late, was that in placing everyone else's needs above my own, I was slowly but surely suffocating my sense of self. My inner peace crumbled, my emotional well-being suffered, and my joy, once vibrant, faded to a dull, distant memory. It was as if I had put myself on the back burner for so long that I didn't even recognize the person I had become anymore. It wasn't until I reached 70, that sacred age of reflection and clarity, that something inside of me shifted, a quiet, yet undeniable urge to stop, to breathe, to listen. That was the moment I realized, with heart-wrenching clarity, that I had been running on empty. My soul was tired. My spirit was exhausted. I was giving without receiving, living without truly living. I had nothing left to offer. The things I once loved no longer brought me joy. And in that moment of painful awakening, it hit me like a bolt of lightning. Self-care is not just about pampering yourself or taking occasional breaks. It is about respecting yourself enough to acknowledge that you deserve happiness, peace, and fulfillment, just as much as anyone else in this world. That first step toward self-care felt like an insurmountable mountain. Guilt twisted in my chest. Guilt from years of conditioning, of living for others, of thinking that to put myself first was somehow wrong. But I began, hesitantly at first, with the smallest of actions. I permitted myself to carve out precious time each morning, even if it was only for a few moments, to simply be. I started meditating, or sometimes, I'd sit quietly, letting my thoughts swirl around without judgment. I began walking in the park, no longer rushing but truly savoring the beauty around me. The sound of the leaves rustling, the feel of the sun warming my face, the scent of fresh air filling my lungs. I would curl up with a warm cup of tea and a book that touched my soul, letting its pages fill me with a joy I had long since forgotten. Slowly, I also began to nurture my mental and emotional health, something I had neglected for so long. I started keeping a gratitude journal, where I would list even the simplest of things that brought me joy, from a smile from a stranger to the comfort of a cozy evening. Most importantly, I learned the art of self-compassion, forgiving myself for the years I spent neglecting my needs, for the times I had been my own harshest critic, and for all the moments I thought I wasn't enough. I embraced the truth that I, too, deserved kindness. I learned to see myself, not as a servant to the needs of others, but as someone worthy of the same care, love, and attention I so freely gave to everyone around me. And here's the beautiful surprise that came from this journey. By nurturing my spirit, I found I had so much more to give. I had more patience, more genuine love, and a renewed sense of purpose that flowed effortlessly to those I cared about. The paradox of self-care is that it is not a selfish act, but rather, it is the very foundation upon which we build our ability to love, connect, and show up for others in a way that is deep, authentic, and enduring. So, I ask you, are you continually putting others before yourself? When was the last time you truly sat in silence with your thoughts? When was the last time you did something that was just for you? Imagine the energy you would have, the love you could offer, the grace you could extend to others if you took just a little time each day to cherish yourself, honor your own needs, and give yourself permission to rest and grow. Self-care is not indulgence. It is not a luxury. It is a life force, a lifeline for your soul. It is the most loving and essential gift you can give, not only to yourself but to the world around you. You can't pour from an empty cup. So take the time, fill yourself up, and watch how you transform the world with your renewed energy, your passion, and your love. 5. Saying no to overcommitting. For much of my life, I was that person who couldn't bring myself to say no. My instinct was always to please, to be the one who said yes to every invitation, every social obligation, every favor from friends and family, and every volunteer opportunity that crossed my path. It was as if I had to be everywhere, do everything, and show up for everyone. My calendar was a chaotic jumble of commitments, my mind a whirlwind of tasks and responsibilities that never seemed to end. I felt like I was constantly juggling, but no matter how much I did, it never felt like enough. The truth was, I was suffocating in my overcommitment, desperately trying to meet the expectations of others while silently ignoring my own needs, peace of mind, and emotional health. The pressure was relentless, and I was unraveling. I pushed myself beyond my limits, convincing myself that saying yes was the only way to prove my worth. But what I didn't realize was that in the process, I was losing touch with myself. I became so caught up in fulfilling everyone else's needs and desires that I forgot what brought me joy, what fueled my spirit, and what made me feel alive. I was drowning in obligations, and the weight of it all left me emotionally depleted and physically drained. The irony. Despite all my efforts to make others happy, I was losing the very thing I needed to sustain myself, my happiness. As the years passed, and I took time to reflect on my life and the choices I had made, a powerful realization began to unfold before me. I began to understand that saying no, once a concept I feared, was not a form of rejection or selfishness. Rather, it was a radical act of self-care, a declaration of my right to protect my time, my energy, and my emotional well-being. I learned that my resources were not infinite, and I had to guard them with the same love and respect I showed to others. I realized that I deserved to prioritize what truly aligned with my values, passions, and purpose, rather than trying to meet the ever-growing list of external demands. This shift was nothing short of transformative. Now, with a clear sense of purpose and self-respect, I've learned the art of saying no. I don't need to apologize for turning down invitations or declining requests that no longer serve me. I don't feel guilty about setting firm boundaries with people or activities that leave me feeling depleted, drained, or unfulfilled. Instead, I embrace the profound freedom that comes with making intentional choices. Saying no has created space in my life, not just for more rest or relaxation, but for things that light me up, energize me, and bring me joy and meaning. It's as though my soul has been permitted to breathe again. This shift in mindset isn't about being selfish or uncaring. It's about being wise, being emotionally intelligent, and fiercely protecting my well-being. I now see that every time I say no to something that drains me, I am saying yes to something far more precious. My peace, my happiness, and my right to live life on my terms. The peace I've found in this newfound clarity is beyond words. It's a feeling of liberation, of reclaiming my life from the clutches of overcommitment. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the weight of constant obligation? Have you found yourself endlessly saying yes, even when it doesn't align with who you truly are or what you truly want? Imagine the sense of relief that would wash over you if you only committed to the things that nourish your soul. Think of one commitment in your life that might be silently draining your energy. What would it feel like to release it, to say no, and to make space for something that brings you peace and joy? Saying no is not always easy. It requires courage, self-awareness, and the willingness to face the discomfort of disappointing others. But the rewards, oh the rewards, are immeasurably freeing. It is in that space of saying no that we discover what it truly means to live, to thrive, and to honor the most important relationship we will ever have, the one with ourselves. 6. Ending unhealthy relationships. Relationships are undeniably one of life's greatest treasures, capable of bringing immense joy, unwavering support, and unparalleled companionship. They shape our experiences, our happiness, and our sense of self-worth. Yet, over time, I've come to realize something profoundly difficult but undeniably true. Not all relationships are meant to be. Not all connections are healthy or nurturing. Some can be toxic, draining, and soul-crushing. For so many years, I found myself clinging desperately to these kinds of relationships, holding on with the hope that somehow things would change and that the people in my life would one day value me the way I deserve to be valued. But as I look back, I see how these relationships weighed me down, suffocated my joy, and left me constantly questioning my worth. I spent so much of my life surrounded by individuals who either brought negativity into my world or simply failed to see me for who I truly was. Their words stung, their actions hurt, and their indifference wounded deeper than I cared to admit. I often felt this overwhelming, almost suffocating obligation to keep these relationships alive, compelled by fear, guilt, or the false belief that I needed to earn their approval. But what I failed to recognize at the time was how much these connections were taking from me. They drained my emotional energy, leaving me feeling hollow, empty, and exhausted. I had given so much of myself to people who never reciprocated, who took and took without ever offering anything meaningful in return. It was as though I was pouring myself into a bottomless pit, always giving, never receiving, always depleted, and yet somehow convinced that I had to continue. Then, something changed. Turning 70 was a turning point, a powerful awakening that shook me to my core. It was as though the fog had lifted, and I saw the world with new eyes, clear, sharp, and illuminated by a realization that had always been there but had never truly settled within me. Life is fragile. Life is fleeting. Each day, each moment is a gift. Why was I wasting this precious time with people who made me feel less than I was, who chipped away at my spirit, who left me feeling small, unseen, and unimportant? It was a revelation that hit me like a bolt of lightning. I had spent so many years living in the shadows of others, tethered to relationships that held me back, weighed me down, and diminished my light. I realized that ending these toxic relationships wasn't just a choice, it was an act of profound self-love. It was about reclaiming my sense of worth, about choosing myself over the destructive influence of others. But let me tell you, walking away from these relationships was no simple feat. It wasn't easy. Each decision felt like tearing apart a piece of my past, peeling away layers of fear, guilt, and emotional baggage that had been piling up for years. But with every step I took away from these unhealthy bonds, I felt a little lighter, a little freer, a little more at peace. It was as if the weight of the world had been lifted from my shoulders, and I was finally able to breathe again. Now, my life is different. Now, I consciously surround myself with people who uplift me, who truly care about me, and who bring joy, kindness, and positivity into my world. These are the people who see me for who I am, who celebrate my growth, and who encourage me to be the best version of myself. And while it may seem like I've cut people out, I want to be clear. This decision wasn't born from bitterness or resentment. No, this shift in my life is rooted in deep compassion, not only for myself but for others as well. It's about choosing to invest my time and energy into relationships that bring mutual respect, joy, and growth, instead of continuing to pour myself into relationships that only drain me. By letting go of the emotional burdens of the past, I've made room for the kind of relationships that matter, those that nourish the soul, that add richness and depth to my life, and that help me grow in ways I never thought possible. In this space, I found deeper, more meaningful connections with those who truly matter, and I am infinitely more grateful for their presence in my life. And so, I ask you, are there people in your life who leave you feeling drained, exhausted, or diminished? Do you have relationships that weigh heavy on your spirit, leaving you empty and dejected instead of fulfilled and energized? Take a moment to reflect. Imagine what could happen if you shifted your focus. Imagine how your life might change if you chose to invest your time and energy into those who lift you, who help you grow, and who cherish you for who you truly are. What would it feel like to release the toxic bonds that have held you back and walk a path of light, freedom, and peace? What might your world look like if you finally decided to set down the emotional baggage and embrace the possibility of healthier, more fulfilling connections? The choice is yours. 7. Putting my health first. For so many years, I allowed my health to fall to the bottom of my priorities, almost as if it were something that could always be postponed. I convinced myself that there were always more urgent matters, work deadlines that loomed over me like mountains, and family responsibilities that consumed my time and energy. I told myself that I was too busy to focus on myself and that caring for myself could wait. I didn't realize the subtle, insidious toll this was taking on my body, mind, and soul. It wasn't until I reached the milestone of 70, a threshold I couldn't ignore, that I was forced to confront a stark, undeniable truth. Without health, everything else is fragile. The simple pleasures I once took for granted, playing with my grandchildren, basking in the warmth of a golden morning walk, or even the ability to feel strong and capable in my skin, began to slip away, like sand through my fingers. And at that moment, it hit me hard. Without my health, I was losing life itself, piece by piece. This realization was not just a wake-up call, it was a profound awakening. I had been living in denial, waiting for the perfect moment to take care of myself, thinking I could keep postponing it. But the truth was undeniable. So, I took a deep breath and decided to begin. Slowly and carefully, I took small steps toward self-care. It started with something as simple as a walk around the block each morning, breathing in the cool air, and feeling the ground beneath my feet. I began choosing vibrant, fresh fruits and vegetables over the easy, processed foods that I had grown so accustomed to. I even experimented with meditation, learning to quiet the constant noise in my mind. What truly astonished me wasn't just the physical transformation that followed. Yes, I began to feel more vibrant and more energized, but it was something deeper that shifted within me. My mind cleared like a fog lifting off a quiet lake, and for the first time in years, I felt the weight of stress and worry lift from my shoulders. There was a newfound calmness, a peaceful gratitude that began to infuse my daily life. I was rediscovering life itself, colorful, rich, and full of possibility, after living for so long in a dull, gray haze. This journey has been nothing short of transformative, not just in my body, but in my spirit. I've learned with every fiber of my being that health is not just a luxury. It is the most precious wealth we possess. It's the foundation from which we experience all the joy and beauty life has to offer. Without it, the brightest moments become dim, and the simplest pleasures feel out of reach. Now, I guard my well-being fiercely, with a fierce, unapologetic love. Every choice I make, every healthy meal, every step I take, every moment of rest I grant myself, impacts the very quality of my life. It's a constant reminder that health is the ultimate gift, the key to experiencing the fullness of life. So let me ask you, how often do you find yourself, like I once did, putting your health last, allowing everything else to take precedence? Imagine, just for a moment, what a difference a few small changes could make. Picture the impact of one simple act of kindness to yourself today. Whether it's drinking a glass of water, taking a short walk, or simply pausing to breathe deeply. What could that one action lead to? What could it change about the way you feel tomorrow, next week, or years from now? The first step may feel small, but it could be the beginning of a profound transformation. Are you ready to take it? 8. Tackling procrastination on personal goals. Time is an unforgiving force, slipping through our fingers like sand, quietly, silently, relentlessly. It passes unnoticed until, one day, we wake up and realize how much we've lost. For countless years, I let my dreams gather dust in the corner of my mind, convincing myself that there would always be more time. Time to pursue the things that truly matter, time to chase those desires that made my heart race. I would tell myself, someday. That elusive day when everything would align, when the stars would somehow magically position themselves perfectly, and I could finally live the life I had always dreamed of. I told myself that later would come. But when I turned 70, everything changed in an instant. It was as though a bolt of lightning struck, and in that moment, the truth became crystal clear. Time doesn't wait for anyone. Later isn't a promise. It's merely a hope, a fleeting illusion. That was the turning point for me. A soul-shaking revelation that stirred something deep within. I realized that if I kept waiting for the perfect moment, I would be forever lost in the land of maybe, someday, and what if. I might never truly live the life I had always imagined. And with that realization, I made a choice, a decision that would forever change the course of my life. No longer would I allow fear, self-doubt, or excuses to keep me chained to a future that never arrived. I stopped waiting. I stopped postponing. I dove into my goals with urgency, passion, and purpose. It was time to breathe life into the dreams I had buried under years of procrastination. I stopped telling myself, tomorrow will be the day, and instead, I made today the day. Today became the catalyst for everything I had ever wanted to achieve. Whether it was finally mastering that skill I'd always dreamed of learning, exploring the places my heart had longed for, or even finishing that book that sat untouched on my shelf for years, each goal became a tangible, living thing I could no longer ignore. No matter how small the step, no matter how imperfect the progress, every forward movement filled me with a sense of purpose and fulfillment that I had forgotten was even possible. Letting go of the idea that there would ever be a perfect moment has been one of the most freeing, empowering decisions of my life. The perfect time doesn't exist in the distant future. It lives right here, right now. And this mindset shift has ignited a fire within me, breathing new life into my days and filling each one with an exhilarating sense of excitement and satisfaction. I no longer wait for life to happen to me. I actively pursue what matters. I ask you now, what about you? What dream have you tucked away, telling yourself you'll get to it one day? What's standing between you and that first step forward? Imagine the transformation, the growth, and the joy that will flow into your life when you start today, right this moment. What could happen if you stop waiting for later and choose to live fully, passionately, and without hesitation? Don't wait. This is your time. 9. Embracing change instead of fearing it. Embracing change has become one of the most profound and transformative decisions I've made in my life. A shift that has completely altered my perspective and the way I move through the world. In my younger years, change was a terrifying monster, a force that loomed over me like an insurmountable obstacle. I feared it with every fiber of my being. I clung desperately to the familiar, to what was comfortable, even when I knew deep down that it no longer nurtured me or brought me joy. The mere thought of stepping into the unknown, of leaving behind everything I had known and relied upon, would paralyze me with anxiety. I chose to stay in toxic relationships, stagnant routines, and suffocating environments, just to escape the overwhelming uncertainty that change brought. I was trapped in a cycle of fear, resisting the natural flow of life as if standing still in my comfort zone would somehow protect me. But, as the years passed and with the wisdom that age brings, I began to realize that change is not an enemy. It is the heartbeat of life itself. It is not something to be feared or avoided, but something to be embraced, cherished, and welcomed. The more I reflected, the more I understood that change is a constant, inevitable force that propels us forward, urging us to evolve, adapt, and expand. It is woven into the very fabric of our existence, shaping us into the people we are meant to become. Change is the catalyst for growth, and it's in those moments of uncertainty that we often discover the most about ourselves. Shifting my mindset was like tearing away a heavy, suffocating veil from my eyes, revealing a world full of vibrant opportunities. Instead of viewing change as a dangerous threat, I began to see it as a trusted companion, one that guides me toward new experiences, new possibilities, and new versions of myself. I embraced change with a newfound sense of curiosity and excitement. What hidden wonders awaited me in the unknown? What strengths, buried deep within me, would rise to the surface in the face of change? The uncertainty that once caused me so much anxiety now felt like an open door, inviting me into an adventure rather than a nightmare. This transformation in my thinking has infused my life with an unshakable sense of freedom, opening up endless possibilities and possibilities I had never dared to consider before. Each change I embraced led me to deeper self-discovery, uncovering passions I didn't know existed, unlocking strengths I had long ignored, and unearthing parts of me that had been buried beneath layers of fear and complacency. Now, life feels more expansive, more colorful, more exhilarating. The simple act of releasing my resistance to change has sparked a profound sense of purpose, as if I am fully alive, ready to meet each day with a sense of wonder and anticipation. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I urge you to reflect for a moment. Imagine how your life might transform if you were to release the fear that holds you back from embracing change. What could happen if, instead of fighting the inevitable, you allowed yourself to step into it with open arms? What could you discover about yourself if you leaned into the unknown, instead of shrinking from it? The changes you've been avoiding, the shifts you've resisted, what if they are the very things you need to unlock the next chapter of your life? What if those changes are not obstacles, but gateways to a version of yourself that you've yet to meet? Embrace them, for they hold the key to your next great adventure. 10. Valuing sleep as a cornerstone of health. Realizing the profound importance of sleep as a cornerstone of health has been a life-altering epiphany, one that shifted my perspective in ways I never imagined. In my younger years, I naively believed sleep was something I could sacrifice, a mere inconvenience standing between me and the things I thought mattered more: late-night work sessions, social events that stretched far too late, and those addictive, mindless hours of binge-watching TV. Sleep seemed expendable, a luxury I could easily put on the back burner if I had enough coffee to fuel the next day. I was convinced that the more I pushed my limits, the more productive and successful I would be. But as time went on and the years wore on my body and mind, I came to a sobering realization. Sleep is not just a frivolous extra, it is the very foundation of a vibrant, flourishing life. It is during those precious quiet hours that our bodies rebuild, our minds detoxify, and our souls replenish. Without sleep, we are merely running on fumes, fragile shadows of the energized, clear-headed beings we were meant to be. Embracing this newfound understanding of the power of sleep, I began to see it not just as a necessity, but as an intimate act of self-care, a profound act of honoring and loving myself. I created a soothing bedtime ritual, a sacred space where the chaos of the world melted away. Each night, I would prepare for rest with rituals designed to calm my mind and soothe my soul. A warm, fragrant bath to ease my tired muscles. Gentle reading that transported me into peaceful worlds far from the stress of my day. And perhaps most importantly, I set my phone aside, fully embracing the stillness and quiet of the evening. The transformation that followed was nothing short of miraculous. Instead of dragging myself out of bed in the morning, I now rise each day with a deep sense of renewal, as though my very soul had been replenished while I slept. I no longer feel the weight of fatigue pressing on me, nor do I feel like I'm simply going through the motions. My mind is sharper, my mood brighter, and my energy more stable. I move through my day with an inner peace and clarity that feels like a gift, a treasure I now cherish with each new dawn. The clarity I once longed for in moments of stress and confusion now greets me naturally, effortlessly, as if sleep has allowed me to see life through a clearer lens. So, I ask you, are you truly giving yourself the rest you deserve? Are you honoring your body's need for the deep, restorative sleep that will allow you to become the best version of yourself? Imagine waking up every single day feeling truly rested, recharged, and ready to take on whatever life throws at you with confidence and grace. What if the key to achieving that level of peace, joy, and success lies in prioritizing sleep? What's one small, simple change you can make tonight to offer your body the rest it craves and deserves? It might feel like a minor adjustment, but in reality, this one shift, this act of self-love, could be the gateway to a healthier, happier life, where you wake up each day knowing you are living your life to the fullest, fueled by the restorative power of sleep. 11. Letting go of comparisons. There's a subtle force that often seeps into our minds, creeping in so gently that we scarcely notice it, comparing ourselves to others. For years, I was shackled by this invisible burden, caught in a never-ending cycle of self-evaluation. I unconsciously stacked my life against others, their successes, their flawless appearances, their seemingly perfect lifestyles. It was as though I was constantly measuring myself with an invisible yardstick that left me perpetually feeling inadequate. I'd glance at someone else's life and wonder why I wasn't doing more, achieving more, or looking a certain way. I believed that if I could just meet those impossible standards, I'd feel whole, as if reaching that elusive point would somehow bring me peace and contentment. But the truth was far from what I had imagined. Each comparison left me feeling more hollow, more disconnected from the joy I sought. It wasn't until I reached my 70s, that I had the profound realization of how much I had been robbing myself of happiness by constantly looking outside myself for validation. This shift in perspective was not a sudden epiphany but a gradual awakening, a slow and steady realization that my life, as it was more than enough. It was my journey, shaped by every beautiful struggle, every triumph, every lesson, and every heartache, and it had its unique value that no one else's life could replicate. I began to understand, deeply, that each of us walks a path uniquely our own. There is no universal measure of success that fits everyone, for life is not a race or a contest. Our lives are rich with personal stories and experiences that are ours alone, our joys, our heartbreaks, and our growth. In embracing this truth, I found peace. The endless pursuit of someone else's version of happiness fell away. I stopped wishing my life was different. I stopped trying to fit into molds that were never meant for me. Instead, I began to cherish what I had, the lessons I've learned, the love I've shared, and the beautiful moments that have shaped who I am. I realized that I was enough just as I am, and my journey, with all its imperfections, was a masterpiece in its own right. Imagine, for a moment, a life where you no longer feel burdened by the relentless need to measure up to someone else. What if you could look at your accomplishments, not as failures, but as powerful gifts that reflect your growth, your unique path? What if you could truly embrace the beauty in your journey, free from comparison, and learn to celebrate what you have done, no matter how small or large those victories may seem? How often do you compare yourself to others? How often do you long for someone else's life, their happiness, their achievements? But what might unfold if you chose, instead, to focus all that energy on nurturing your unique path? What if you permitted yourself to simply be who you are, to fully accept your story, and to let go of the urge to compare? Living intentionally after 70, shedding these 11 burdens, old habits, toxic relationships, unnecessary commitments, has been one of the most transformative and life-changing experiences I've ever known. It's more than just lightening the load. It's about curating a life that aligns with my deepest values, a life that is rich in purpose, depth, and meaning. At this stage in my life, I no longer have the time or energy to waste on things that drain my spirit or on relationships that no longer serve me. Instead, I focus on what truly matters, the things that bring me peace, the things that fill me with joy. There is a vibrant energy in this newfound freedom, a joy that can only be found in embracing the present and letting go of the weight of comparisons. This is the beauty of living authentically, of shedding the unnecessary weight we often carry in comparison to others. It's about freeing ourselves from the chains of expectation and embracing the fullness of our own story. As you approach your 70s or find yourself stepping into this remarkable chapter of life, I urge you to pause and deeply reflect on your journey. What are you still clinging to that no longer aligns with the person you've become? What emotional burdens, fears, or regrets are you carrying that have long since outlived their purpose? Imagine for a moment the liberating feeling of releasing these heavy chains, the freedom to step into each new day lighter, freer, and more at peace with yourself. The power to let go can be profound, and it can open doors to joy, peace, and emotional freedom you may have never imagined. So often, society conditions us to view aging as something to be resisted, feared, and even mourned, a slow decline rather than an unfolding opportunity. But what if aging wasn't something to dread but rather a beautiful invitation to evolve, to shed the non-essential, and to embrace the person you've truly become? What if every wrinkle, every gray hair, was a testament to your strength, your resilience, and the wisdom you've acquired through the years? This is not about reinventing yourself. It's about rediscovering the person you were always meant to be. It's about honoring the years of wisdom, the vast experiences, and the profound lessons you've gathered along the way. You have lived through countless moments, each one shaping you, molding you into someone uniquely beautiful and strong. Now, more than ever, you have the insight and clarity to make decisions that reflect who you truly are today. You are no longer bound by the expectations of others, the outdated beliefs of the past, or the limitations you once placed on yourself. You are free to be authentically you. Take a quiet moment for yourself and reflect on your life. What routines, commitments, or relationships are holding you back? What is weighing on your heart that no longer serves you? Is there something you've been afraid to let go of, even though deep down you know it's time? The incredible beauty of life after 70 is the gift of wisdom, the wisdom to make conscious choices with intention. Now you can release the unnecessary and create space for what truly brings joy, peace, and fulfillment. Picture your ideal day, A day that is free from the weight of burdens, expectations, and the endless pressures of yesterday. Imagine waking up with a heart full of peace, no longer carrying anything that doesn't serve your highest good. What would it feel like to live that day, every single day? To wake up with a light heart, open to the beauty of each moment, and full of gratitude for the life you've lived and the people you've touched? Consider taking time to journal about something you can let go of today, no matter how small it may seem. Sometimes, it is the smallest shifts that create the most profound changes. Letting go of an old belief, an unnecessary fear, or even just a small nagging habit can transform your experience of life. Imagine, just for a moment, what your life could become, one small release at a time, until every moment is filled with the joy, peace, and freedom you so richly deserve. Building a legacy of joy and peace begins with you. As you look back over your years, you may come to realize that the most meaningful legacy is not one made up of grand achievements or material possessions. The legacy that truly matters is the one we create within ourselves. The legacy of a life filled with joy, love, and kindness. We often think of legacies in terms of monuments, awards, or material wealth, but I've come to believe that our greatest legacy is not in what we accumulate, but in how we choose to live each day. It is in the small acts of compassion, the quiet moments of courage, and the commitment to nurturing peace within ourselves. When we make our well-being a priority, embrace change, and choose to release the burdens of the past, we begin to radiate a deep inner peace that can inspire those around us. Picture living a life that is deeply rooted in joy, purpose, and resilience. A life that shines with warmth, love, and a quiet strength that can't be shaken. When we fill our days with intention and gratitude, we set a path for those who follow us. Our children, grandchildren, friends, and community witness the beauty of a life lived fully, one that is filled with grace, humility, and acceptance. They will see through your example that life doesn't need to be perfect to be meaningful and that it's never too late to start anew. True strength lies not in holding on to what is familiar, but in letting go with grace, knowing that in doing so, we create space for the life we are meant to live. This is the kind of legacy we can all leave behind. A legacy of growth, acceptance, and the quiet, yet profound, strength of a life well lived. It's a reminder to all that each of us has the power to inspire change, to uplift others, simply by how we choose to face each new day. So, what kind of legacy do you wish to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered by those whose lives you touch? If there is one thing you could change right now to align your life with the legacy you dream of building, what would it be? And if something is holding you back, what if today were the day you decided to let it go? Imagine the peace, the freedom, and the joy that awaits on the other side of that decision. Living a life full of connection and community after 70 is not just a way to pass the time, it is the very heartbeat of a life well lived. As the years go by, it's all too easy to feel a sense of isolation creeping in, like the gradual pull of a tide that separates us from the social circles and routines that once defined our days. The people we used to see regularly, the places that once felt familiar, may start to feel distant or even unreachable. But in this season of life, the power of connection becomes more crucial than ever before. Finding our community is not just important. It is essential for our joy, our purpose, and our sense of belonging. These connections breathe life into our days, filling them with warmth and energy that can reignite a sense of purpose we may have forgotten we had. When we surround ourselves with others who share our passions and experiences, something magical happens. Suddenly, we are no longer alone in our journey. Whether it's finding a book club where each conversation is an opportunity for new perspectives and insight, walking with neighbors who share your love for the outdoors, volunteering for a cause that ignites your heart, or even diving into the expansive world of online communities. Each interaction, each conversation, each shared experience adds layers of meaning and richness to our lives. In these moments, we are reminded that we are never truly alone. We are surrounded by a network of people who understand and appreciate the beautiful complexity of this stage of life, its unique challenges, its quiet victories, and the abundance of joy still waiting to be discovered. Have you ever stopped to imagine how different your life might feel with a deeper sense of community? Picture the joy of laughter shared over coffee, the warmth of new friendships that emerge as if they were always meant to be. What hobbies or activities have caught your eye recently? Perhaps there's something just waiting for you to step into it. Don't let hesitation hold you back. Sometimes, all it takes is one simple hello or an invitation to join, and suddenly, the world expands with new possibilities, new faces, and new experiences. The world is filled with untapped opportunities for connection, joy, and the comforting realization that we are all walking this path together. So, why wait? Take that first step. Reach out. Embrace the adventure of what lies ahead. Let the beauty of connection surprise you with all that it can bring into your life. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. Living with gratitude and purpose has been the bedrock of my existence, the guiding force that has shaped my days and transformed my outlook on life. Over time, I've come to realize that gratitude is not just a polite sentiment or a quick thank you. It is a profound way of engaging with the world. It's a way of seeing, of deeply appreciating the richness of every moment, every breath, every experience. In our later years, it's so easy to fall into the trap of focusing on what we've lost. The people, the vitality, the routines that once filled our days. But what if we chose, instead, to turn our gaze toward what we still have? What if we focused on the simple joys that remain, the deep connections that continue to nourish us, and the wisdom we've collected along the way? This shift in perspective has been nothing short of life-changing. Gratitude has the power to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, to take something as simple as a quiet sunrise or a cup of coffee and fill it with meaning. Living with gratitude means savoring the small moments, the fleeting yet precious experiences that make up our days. It's in the moments of stillness when the world seems to pause just for a breath. It's in the laughter shared with a friend, in the contentment of sitting in the sun's warmth, in the quiet peace that comes with knowing that, even in life's most challenging moments, we have so much to be thankful for. Gratitude is the lens through which we learn to truly cherish the gift of life, understanding that each day, no matter how small it may seem, is a treasure, one that many will never have the chance to experience. And when we approach life from this place of deep appreciation, everything changes. Life becomes richer, fuller, and more meaningful, and even the hardest days are softened by the knowledge that we are living with purpose, and with gratitude in our hearts. This understanding has transformed my life in ways I could never have imagined, bringing me not only a deep sense of peace but a powerful, renewed purpose. It's as though a weight has been lifted from my shoulders, replaced with the clarity that my life is incredibly valuable and deserving of being lived fully, every single day. I have chosen to wake up each morning with my heart wide open, ready to receive the beauty that surrounds me. And as I walk through the world, I do so with a newfound intention, grace, and awareness. Can you imagine how your life could shift if you, too, began each day brimming with gratitude? What if, instead of letting the worries and stresses of life cloud your mornings, you focus solely on the many blessings already in your life, those simple yet profound moments of joy and contentment? Start by keeping a gratitude journal, even if it feels like a small step. Every morning or evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant they might appear. With time, you'll notice a remarkable transformation in the way you perceive the world. You'll begin to see beauty in places you never thought to look. You'll feel a sense of peace settle into your soul, and more importantly, you'll discover a deep sense of purpose that will guide you through even the most difficult of days. Gratitude isn't just a fleeting practice. It's a way of living, an ethos that has the power to change everything. It's not about the big, dramatic moments. It's about the quiet, profound shifts that occur in your heart when you focus on the gifts life has already given you. As you look ahead to the next chapter of your life, take a moment to savor that thought. It's a beautiful, empowering realization. This new phase of your life is like a blank canvas, waiting for your personal touch. It's a fresh opportunity for your wisdom, resilience, and dreams to shine through. It's your chance to rewrite the story of your life, to embrace a narrative that truly reflects the person you are now. It's time to let go of the things that no longer serve you, the heavy burdens that have held you back, and open your heart to the abundance of joy, love, and peace that's just waiting to enter. This next chapter doesn't have to be about slowing down or winding down. It can be about living with more intention, more excitement, and more courage than ever before. How do you want this next chapter to unfold? What adventures, passions, or dreams do you want to explore? This is your time to choose joy over obligation, fulfillment over routine. Every single day becomes a precious opportunity to live with purpose, and that purpose will guide you through the challenges and triumphs alike. With each morning, you have the gift of starting anew, of turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. And remember, it's not about achieving grand milestones or ticking off a list of accomplishments. It's about the quiet, simple joys that fill your heart, the laughter shared with a dear friend, the serene beauty of sipping a morning coffee in peace, the quiet satisfaction of learning something new. When you let go of outdated habits, limiting beliefs, or even relationships that no longer lift you, you create space for the things that truly matter. This stage of life is a liberating, rewarding journey of self-discovery, filled with moments of joy and deep fulfillment. Imagine if every single day was an opportunity to live more authentically, to bring your truest values, your deepest desires, into the light. Think about how you'd spend your time, the people you'd surround yourself with, and the passions that would fill your soul. Start each day with purpose, whether it's a small ritual or a new intention that sets the tone for your day. What's one small change you could make to align your actions with your values and bring you closer to the life you've always dreamed of? Embrace this chapter of your life with an open heart, because life after 70 isn't an end. It's a beautiful beginning. It's a chance to live more fully, more joyously, and with greater freedom than ever before. The power of intention is transformative. It's the quiet force that shapes a life that genuinely reflects who you are at your core. Living intentionally is about choosing each step with full awareness, and making decisions that are rooted in your deepest values, rather than following the paths set out for you by others. It's about granting yourself the freedom to be unapologetically yourself, to design a life where every choice, every commitment, and every boundary honors what truly matters to you. For some, living intentionally might mean redefining what success looks like, and discarding old definitions that no longer resonate with the person you've become. Perhaps it's about simplifying, about letting go of physical or emotional clutter to make space for peace, joy, and purpose. Or maybe it's about slowing down, taking the time to savor each moment, and allowing yourself to live in harmony with your own pace instead of rushing through life. Intentional living invites us to release the weight of societal expectations, and to abandon the pressure of constantly keeping up. In its place, we find the freedom to simply be, to be content with who we are right now, and to be excited about where we are going. As you embark on this beautiful new chapter of your life, grant yourself the grace to craft a reality that feels authentic to your very soul. What does it truly mean to live with intention at this stage of your journey? Picture waking up each day with a powerful, yet simple, guiding force, an intention that becomes the light leading your way. This intention could be as gentle and nourishing as choosing to show yourself the kindness you deserve, or as focused and unwavering as dedicating time to savoring a single joy that lifts your spirit. When we live intentionally, we become the architects of our happiness, molding our lives with purpose and passion. We become the creators of our destiny, building a life that honors the deepest, most sacred desires of our hearts. Take a moment, right now, to ask yourself, what would living intentionally look like for you? How might your days shift and transform if each one began with a clear sense of purpose? Imagine embracing this new way of living, where every decision you make flows from a place of alignment with your truest values. Imagine how different your life would feel if each step, no matter how small, was taken with a sense of profound purpose. You have the power to shape this journey, one conscious choice, one brave step at a time. Honoring your journey requires the incredible courage to let go. Letting go is not just an act, it is a courageous, deeply transformative leap into freedom. It's not always easy to release what we've known, what has become familiar, and what once served as our anchor, even when we know it's no longer nourishing us. But in every act of release, there is a sacred space being created, space for something greater to enter. Something more in tune with the life you've always dreamed of, a life that speaks to your heart and soul. Picture the gift you are offering yourself as you embrace change and trust that each step you take is guiding you closer to the life of fulfillment and joy you've longed for. Sometimes, this courage means letting go of old habits, routines, or beliefs that once offered us comfort, yet now restrict our growth. It could mean stepping away from relationships that drain the vitality from your spirit instead of uplifting and nourishing it. Or perhaps it's the act of liberating yourself from the suffocating grip of self-doubt, stepping into the strength and power that have always resided within you. As you journey down this path of self-discovery, remember that you are never alone. Countless others are walking this same path, finding the courage to build lives that reflect their true, most beautiful selves. What if you were to take that bold leap today? What if you were to release just one thing that has been weighing you down? Whether it's a habit, a limiting belief, or an unfulfilling relationship. Imagine what could unfold, a life filled with greater peace, deeper joy, and an abundance of the beauty and fulfillment you truly deserve. Pause for a moment and reflect on an area of your life where you feel stuck or stagnant. What is one small, powerful step you could take today? One thing you could release that would set you free like a weight lifted from your shoulders, allowing you to soar. Remember, letting go is never about losing something. It is about honoring yourself, your journey, and the life you are courageously creating. With each release, you are moving one step closer to a future brimming with possibility, peace, and joy beyond what you can imagine. Finally, celebrate your progress. Every step forward is a victory. Every moment you take to honor yourself and your path is a reason to pause and reflect, to acknowledge how far you've come. In a world that constantly urges us to look ahead and focus on what's next, it is all too easy to overlook the immense growth that has already occurred, the milestones that have shaped who we are today. Each moment of letting go, each courageous leap of faith into the unknown, and every deliberate, intentional choice to live fully in the present moment is a triumph. You are worthy of celebrating your achievements, no matter how small they may seem. These moments are the building blocks of your transformation, the foundation of a life lived with intention, authenticity, and unparalleled joy. These aren't mere steps. These are monumental affirmations of your unshakable resilience, your relentless drive to evolve, and your unwavering dedication to leading a life imbued with purpose, authenticity, and unwavering commitment. Pause for just a heartbeat, and truly recognize the extraordinary journey you've traveled. Acknowledge the incredible distance you've covered, the countless battles you've fought within yourself, and the growth you've embraced with open arms. At this moment, take a deep breath and bask in the sheer pride of who you are becoming. The person who has courageously faced fears head-on, embraced every challenge as an opportunity to grow, and chosen to live each day with an open heart and an unwavering spirit. Life isn't merely about reaching a distant destination. It's about savoring the beauty of the journey itself. It's about honoring every lesson learned, every obstacle faced, and every victory, no matter how big or small, because they're all threads in the rich tapestry of your life. Can you even imagine what it would feel like to truly celebrate every step along the way? To revel in the beauty of every moment, to take joy in the smallest of victories that speak volumes about your strength, your courage, and the incredible evolution you're undergoing. How often do we allow ourselves to bask in that glory, to honor the person we're becoming, to feel the immense pride of the progress made, however imperfect, in our quest for a better self? If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 5 below to let me know that you are still here with me. As each day draws to a close, gift yourself with a moment of reflection. Reflect on something you did well, something that made you proud. It doesn't have to be monumental. Sometimes, it's in the quiet acts of patience, in the tender words of kindness, or the courage to simply keep going despite the odds, that we find the deepest meaning. These seemingly small wins often carry the most profound significance. They are the truest reflections of your heart, of your journey, and the resilient spirit that carries you forward. So, don't rush past these moments. Take that time to honor yourself, to give yourself credit for showing up every single day, with all your strength, vulnerability, and love. In this journey, you are not just celebrating accomplishments. You are also acknowledging the beautiful, courageous, and resilient person you are becoming. Each stage of life holds its unique challenges and blessings, and as you continue to grow, you will do so with grace, with unwavering courage, and with a heart overflowing with gratitude. Know deep within your soul that every step forward is a testament to the profound strength that lies within you. You are stronger, braver, and more resilient than you know, and the best part of your journey is still ahead of you. As you embrace the future with an open heart, know that life after 70 is not just another chapter in your story. It is an extraordinary season, rich with opportunities, profound growth, and wisdom that only time and experience can bring. Just imagine the freedom that comes with knowing you faced countless storms, weathered the harshest of winds, learned invaluable lessons, and emerged from it all with a spirit that is stronger, more resilient, and infinitely wiser. Now, you stand in a place where every single day is a precious gift, a new adventure to be discovered, a chapter to be written with curiosity, love, and joy. It's not about being perfect. It's about embracing the beautiful complexity of life, about dancing with its challenges and triumphs with a heart full of gratitude, tenderness, and love. With each sunrise, you hold the incredible power to shape your own story. You can make choices that reflect the deepest and truest version of who you are. Life may not always unfold neatly, but that's what makes it so precious, so wonderfully unpredictable. Each moment is imbued with the promise of new joys, discoveries, and new opportunities to live a life that is rich with meaning. What if the very best days of your life are still unfolding, right before your eyes? How can you step into each day with a heart full of hope, excitement, and deep anticipation for what's yet to come? As we reflect on all we've shared today, Think about what truly resonated with you. What has this journey of growth, resilience, and self-discovery taught you so far? Take a moment to reflect and share with us in the comments below one thing you've learned from this video. Something you'll carry forward into your life, something you're determined to practice moving forward. Your thoughts and experiences matter, and your words have the power to inspire others in this community. So, don't hesitate to share them. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. By doing so, you'll stay connected to more meaningful content designed to help you live a life full of purpose, growth, and joy. Thank you for being here. Your journey is just getting started, and we're grateful to be a part of it.